Hello, everybody. Can you hear me? I'm too short. This is what's going to happen to me at the Twippies. God bless Marco Stools. All right. Hello, everybody. I'm Kyle Caution, and welcome to PinTech Live episode 84. Kyle's in the bathroom right now. Oh, I need to focus this camera. So I am at the studio today, so you won't see me down there, but I'm right here. Hey, guys. How does Kyle read? He must have really good vision to read the chat. So anyways, while we wait for Kyle to finish with hair and makeup and leave his trailer and walk over here after going through the green room and getting a bunch of craft services, I have a few announcements for y'all. On 2-3 more weekends, March 25th through the 27th is Texas Pinball Festival. We will be there with Stern and Fun Superstore, Billiards and Game Room Superstore with Craig Hassel. It's a long company day. Kyle's walking through and shaking his head.
Why are you on the stool?
He's like, why are you on the stool taking over my stream right now? He's hydrating. We're going to be there in Texas. We hope to see y'all there. We're going to have a bunch of games. We're going to have the Insider Connected leaderboards. We're going to do some leaderboard challenges and a lot of other super fun stuff, as well as presenting the Twippy ceremony for y'all, which I will be on the stage. Kyle will join us on the stage at some point. So make sure y'all tune into that. If you're not coming to Texas, we're going to be live streaming it on the This Week in Pinball YouTube channel. So go ahead and subscribe to them so you can be notified. That's going to be at 8 p.m. Central on Saturday, March 26th.
8 p.m. Central. Okay, cool. It's exciting.
I was like, oh,
I have to make sure I'm there then. Looking snazzy.
Other announcements I have is, Kyle, stand there, look pretty. Next week, we are going to be doing our Rush Premium Deep Dive. We're going to have Elliot Eisman on the show with us, and he's going to go through all of the mechanical feats of this game. Nice. You'll have a chance to chat with him and kind of get that deep dive into all the cool things going on with Rush Premium. So Kyle will be setting up that game soon, and
nice.
That'll be a great show. And of course, we'll do our giveaways and all that good stuff.
Friend of the show, Elliot. It's like the third time he's been on, right?
Emoto in the same room as Kyle looks weird. I feel weird. Don't worry, I'm right there with you.
I have that effect on people, I guess.
I was almost gonna zoom in from like 100 feet away, but I was like, whatever. All right, another
Get over here.
Another announcement we have is next Tuesday, we're gonna start season 2 of Big Picture Pinball Show. So that's a show I do with James Moriarty, and we showcase pinball in media. So filmmakers who have made short films or documentaries, TV shows with pinball, we bring them on the show and we geek out over like camera tech stuff and storytelling philosophy. So next Tuesday, we will be doing a special one about the Twippies, actually.
Oh, really?
With Jeff Patterson.
I was going to ask, it's like, do we know who the special guest will be this time?
And then I have a cool little trailer for that to get you guys excited. Right here.
Wow.
I wish you could hear this music. It's a very old movie theater. Get your popcorn, get your drinks.
Oh, really?
Yeah, music. So please tune in. That's every other Tuesday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And the first one starts next week. That's good stuff.
Nice.
Yeah.
Are we technically on season 2 of this show?
You know, it's funny because I knew you were going to ask that question when I was like, Kyle's going to ask that question. So no, I think we're on season 3 of PinTech Live unofficially, even though we just go episode numbers up.
Is it every time I get my hair cut?
That's exactly why.
Ah, okay, cool.
It's every time you
Check
get
it out.
haircut.
This is episode 2, season 3, episode 2.
That's so confusing. Episode 84. And then the last announcement before we go into working on Surf Champ is the new Pin Game Journal's out. You can see it and buy a copy on the front page of our website. If you're not familiar with Pin Game Journal, they have been making these since the 90s. And you can actually get some archival ones on our website too, which is super cool. But it shows kind of like the magazine side. Oh wow, look, I made that.
Oh boy.
That's hilarious. That's funny they use it. Lots of promo stuff. We got our really OG Marco.
That's an old spread, yeah.
Whoops.
It's
But
okay.
it's a calendar that you hang on your fridge or in your office where you're working on games, and then it has different shows, pinball shows. Dennis Norman's birthday Dennis Norman's birthday is going to be on March 15th during the Big Picture Pinball Show. So we'll have to give him a happy birthday for that.
Bigfoot himself, a happy birthday.
Yeah, it shows all the shows and stuff. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of April. Guess which game that is?
A Big Guns.
He's good. So yeah, you'll have to buy your own copy to see the rest of the months.
Yeah,
Very
that's a cool
exciting.
calendar though. I mean, it's a pinball calendar. What could be cooler than that?
And for real, like once this year's over, it's just like a great coffee table book of amazing pinball art. Yeah. All right, those are my announcements.
Yeah, you said you had a lot of announcements. I was thinking they would take a bit longer.
Okay, one more announcement. Our 24-hour free domestic shipping and $10 off international shipping for orders over $99. Code is, in all caps, PT-Big Stepper. And if
Hot
Big
Step.
Step is in Osaka. Hot Stepper is the song by
I
Yumi
love
Kobozo.
Big Step. Wait, I hope I did that right.
you do it?
I'm reading it now.
Wait,
it's
hold on.
PT-Hot Stepper.
Yep, it's right.
And if you're interested in where that came from, not only are we working on stepper units, but look it up on YouTube. It's a really jammin' reggaeton song that makes love. So maybe he'll post the YouTube link in,
Yeah,
in
Steve,
the chat.
link everyone to the song.
Yumi
So you
Kobozo.
guys can.
I kind of wish it was Big Stepper because we're going to be working on a
Whoops.
teeny stepper today, but whatever.
Here comes the big hot stepper. Hot stepper.
Wow,
It's pretty hot.
it's not hot.
Pin Game Journal also makes a great calendar. Fan.
A fan? Are you hot because you're under the big lights now?
Yeah.
Oh,
These
man,
LED lights
jeez.
are burning me. Now I know how you feel.
Yep, how anxious I feel every day getting
In front of this camera. Hold on, I'm going to remove my jacket so I don't get toasty as well.
And
So.
for those of you who have missed it, movie magic.
Oh,
Thank
yeah.
you.
Emoto's
Marco stools.
10 inches taller with that stool.
I'm going to bring one of these to the Twippies.
That's going to be
Sit on
cool though.
those.
That's a good idea. Because then Jack and I can stand next to you and you can be in the middle and we'll be like the bodyguards or something,
like-
you know? Anyways,
Yeah. All right. Where are we at with this game, Kyle?
I don't know. I think we were gonna even though I got this thing free and it's actually working quite reliably, let's document for me relearning how to do it, and also to do it, we're gonna disassemble and remove the gear, the actual stepping gear from this stepper unit. The problem it had before was that it was just totally locked up. But it was locked up due to a few of the little the stepping pawls themselves and the way that they have to move and wiggle to engage the gear, etc. But now they're all broken loose and they're all actually quite nice. So, but let's still remove it. There one point of actual friction, and this seems to be a lot more commonplace on games that are older than this. This is a relatively, late Gottlieb electromechanical game, but some of the older games, like, for early 70s, like Jack in the Box, for example, some of those stepper units, actually, the grease inside can get quite goopy and icky, and that will keep the gear from moving right. So let's take a look at this. We aren't going to remove the shoulder bolt. We aren't going to remove some of the stepping pawls because I don't need to. That is something that you might need to do on some of your games. Do it with caution. Grumpy EM Doctor last week did mention that the shoulder bolt, which holds on this guy. This shoulder bolt, sometimes it can be just really stuck in there and you can snap it. Actually, I had Steve bring me a shoulder bolt that looked similar, but I don't know where it's at now. I'll have to find it. It's under something. But a shoulder bolt generally will have a large head, which will step down into a section that is a bit skinnier, and then will step down again for a threaded section. So it goes from, wide to narrow, and generally at that wide to narrow transition, if they're really stuck, they can just snap because it's the weakest point in the link, right? So generally, when I take these things apart, it's been a long time. So we're gonna learn this a little bit as I've done this. So I need to relearn it myself. But the few things, a scribe of some sort, or possibly a Sharpie. I prefer something permanent, just so you can't accidentally wipe it off while you're working. But the first things first is get your stepper unit into a position that is fully reset, or the beginning, right? Like we know there are continuous stepper units, there's step down, step up, but most stepper units will. Old School EMs, what's up? Hey, thanks for the subscription for 5 whole wonderful months.
Can't see me anymore.
We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Where was I at with this? Basically, the long and short of what I was saying was to get the stepper unit reset to its most, step 0, right? Get it all the way back into its home position. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a scribe. Which camera is it? This one. I'm going to take a scribe here, and I'm going to just mark where these 2 rivets that are easily accessible need to lay. I'm sorry, not rivets, but the horseshoes themselves.
Wait, I gotta go on that side.
Let me do it first, and then you can see what I've done once it's all out of the way.
What?
These are kind of like fiber or Bakelite.
Yeah, bring that guy in.
These are like fiber boards, so they are easy to scribe. I'm going to do it on the edges, but what we're going to do here is I'm going to take my handy dandy scribe, and I'm going to just work in a little.
Tilt down a little bit. Come on, we want to see it. Thank you.
I'm going to work in a little V.
Nice.
I'm going to get in here with the other horseshoe, and I'm going to gently also scribe in another shape or something like that. And what that helps me do is that we know that that is where those rivets need to go when we reassemble the whole thing. Just to really take any guesswork out of it. If we got this one on wrong, we wouldn't be really causing too much. But all this unit does is actually controls the lights for the bonus on the playfield. So if you did get it off 180 degrees, it would not be difficult to figure out what the heck you have done. But let's try not to add any guesswork because it slows you down and makes things take longer, and I am impatient and don't like doing things twice, so, for the most part. The next step is going to be removing some. This is where we might need some fancy camera work. It's going to be hard to see these. I'm going to try to figure out what size these are. They are an 1/8 inch, I believe. This entire unit, there's 2 ways you can remove this thing totally. There is a flange that this mounts to with 3 mounting points. And that is what these screws screw into. These screws also allow you to give it a few degrees of adjustment either way, so you can make sure that all the rivets line up with the rivet board. But what I'm going to do is use an 1/8 inch T-handle nut driver, and I'm going to loosen this flange off of the shaft. Yes, because that one is, I'll show you. It's technically got its own washer because it has a solder tab on it. Let's see. You'll see when I get this thing off. I think that's like the engineering reason why. Kind of have to do this one just at a slight angle to not damage the teeny spring. There it goes. It's kind of stuck on there. Steve was asking why one of these didn't have a star washer. It's got a solder tab here for a common, and that is why this one doesn't have a washer. But this is the device. So you can see that there is no D-shaped rod or anything like that, so this can be put on anywhere. The point of making these indentations was when I go to put this back together, I know that if I have these horseshoes stepped up perfectly with these indentations, we are lined up in the correct place. Right? So.
First time chat. Hello, bass tone 18.
Howdy.
Just bought your first game and it's an EM. What game did you get? And is it bass tone or bass tone? No.
Probably bass tone, but that's great. Thanks for joining us, and electromechanical pinball machines are the best pinball machines, so good choice.
Oh, wait.
So I noticed also that this spring...
Oh my gosh, there's a background music? Oh my gosh. It's that surf music, isn't it? You don't like
sorry.
it? Wow, that made the show really exciting for a while, and then turned annoying really quick, right?
That's awful, sorry. When did that get turned
Even
on?
Joel kind of was like, I think it was just auto on from last week when we signed off and I put the surf music on.
Yeah, Emoto is not producing remotely, so I can't hear the music ever, and Emoto can when she's doing it on her end. So, but now she's here, so sorry about that. That's kind of hilarious.
It is.
But it's also not hilarious because it made everyone mad.
Grumpy got grumpier.
I'd be grumpy too. I'd tune out. I'd unsubscribe from this channel if I was hearing
Sounded
music.
like Indian dance music? No, it was surf music. Oh, wait, no, I take it back. It was the reggaeton for Big Stepper.
Oh.
Sorry.
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 We'll make it up to you, hopefully with some funny banter. So I've got to be on this side now. I'm going to bring this light around just so I can see better because I'm super blind.
I'm going to see where you're going and then I'll set the
So I'm going to work right here for a minute.
Okay.
What we need to do, I'll explain this to Emoto also. We are going to remove this spring, the torsion spring, which keeps and helps the actual gear reset every time the step-down pawl releases. That gear will be held in place or held in a certain place where the spring can reset at one tooth. But what we need to do is we need to get this switch stack out of the way. So what that involves is generally what I'll do when I'm servicing these things on the playfield, if I can wrangle it. Gottlieb frustratingly used slotted screws everywhere, so I kind of hate them. But what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to loosen the front. I don't know if this is going to work just because of the angle in this dang slingshot. Let me get a thicker screwdriver. Really. Actually,
Can you see through?
I can't be see-through. Unfortunately, I don't have invisibility powers. What I'm going to try to do is we're going to try to loosen the front screw on this switch stack. And what that will allow us to do is to just pivot it out of the way. And if you are careful and you don't mangle the switches, you don't have to remove the entire switch stack, which saves you a little bit of time. So I've got a flathead screwdriver and a 1/4-inch wrench working this nut and screw. But it's at such an angle that it's just a pain in the butt to hold the screw from the top. So I'm going to see if I can, sorry, now I'm flustered, but I can get this. It's like I can't even work a dang screwdriver. You know what? Hold on. Maybe I can use the screwdriver sideways to hold it in place. We're kind of just fighting against the lock washer on this nut right now. a good idea. Use that as a long boom. All right. I'll try to get this. This nut is really stuck on. All right, there it goes. Definitely be very careful when you're working on an electromechanical game to not drop anything in the cabinet, like I just did. Why you don't want to drop things down. There's a lot of relays and things in the bottom of the cabinet, and it makes it quite difficult to find things when they fall. And not only that, but they can get caught and stuck in things where they shouldn't be. Thankfully, this one didn't fall. I love music. I listen to music a lot, but a lot of the times when I'm working on this stuff, I won't be listening to music because your ears are really, really important tools to help you find where you drop stuff. If you hear it hit wood, you know it hit the bottom. If you hear it kind of tink around on metal, well, there you go. It hasn't hit the bottom yet. You can also put a towel down, I suppose, to catch things, which is a great idea. But I like to live life on the edge. I am a rebel. Okay, so check this out, Emoto. Can you get a shot? Yes. Actually, no. Here, I'll need to do a handheld one because you won't. I don't want the camera to get around. No, it's a really small little thing right here. This torsion spring is actually wrapped. Emoto's got that sweet lens.
Just kidding.
Oh.
Well, I have to zoom in.
This spring is wrapped around this tab, so this is kind of a pain to get off, but we'll unwrap it to get it off. Not a very important shot. I just wanted to tell you it was there. Let me get a better screwdriver. I'm going to use my bent Williams Bally Midway screwdriver here.
That spring?
Yeah. The end of that torsion spring, do you see that? So I'm going to use a very small pick. I don't like to use my scribe just because if I break the tip off of my like $1 tool, I'd be upset. So I'm going to use a priceless, irreplaceable Bally Midway screwdriver to do it instead because, you know, that makes a lot of sense. No, okay. I'm going to have to use that pick because I have to get underneath that spring. What we're getting at is the end result is hopefully, well, not hopefully, but what we need to do is remove the dang spring so we can get this gear out of the housing.
Hello, John Cope. Thanks for joining us. Old School EM says use a towel and cover the bottom.
That's a great idea.
That's a great idea.
But we don't do great ideas here. Maybe it's just been such a long time since I've fiddled with one of these, but I do not remember these things being bent around that tab like that. This game also doesn't look like it's been mucked with much, but that doesn't mean someone hasn't taken this apart before. The important thing here is also, when you're working with these springs, to be careful not to break them. You can get these springs still. We sell them, we have replacements. Generally, the only reason you really would ever need one of these is if someone has done something really dumb with it. Let's see.
When you remove the spring, do you rebend it that tight when reinstalling?
I won't be, no. But I want to try to get it out without breaking it, though. But what we will be doing when we get this thing out, when we get it freed from its prison, is counting how many times the spring is wrapped around what we would call like a center point. One real common way people will try, with best intentions, to get these things working again is to over-tighten or over-wind the springs to get that snapback action to be nice and clean, to try to overcompensate for like a gummed up unit, right? And general rule of thumb is to always reinstall them exactly how you've taken them out, unless you can tell something has been done weird. From what I remember, and there's probably a better, I want David to chime in on this, but generally they're wrapped around 3 times. So I will be counting how many times we unwrap it.
That's the replay.
No, this is the bonus unit.
So does that use different springs than the?
I think it depends on what kind of unit it is. Since this is a step up, step down, it might use a different torsion spring. A step up full reset, something that only steps one direction, and then when it's done, it goes back home, might use a more powerful spring to, throw it backwards. Maybe depending on how many steps or how many times it winds up, it might use a different spring. Bingo units and their gigantic steppers, I don't know. Yeah, but no, this, I can imagine that every unit might use a different torsion on a Gottlieb game. So since I did kind of oil this up to have a proof of theory that we could get it working, it's kind of gunky, so that's why I need my paper towel here. I've got the spring off, and this is the switch peg right here, so I'm going to use that as reference. But we're going to unwrap it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times. Oh, that one was kind of wrapped around there 4 times. I'm going to try to rebuild it and wrap it around 3 times. And if that feels good, then that's probably how I'll leave it. We just want to make sure that every time from the highest position, I think this game will step up 15 times, it will be able to step down all the way back to 0. This spring, since this is a torsion spring, it will have higher tension the more times it's wrapped. So by the time it gets back down to the first couple steps it would take, or the last couple while it's resetting, it will have a lot less tension on it. So the other thing to make sure of is there is a, oh no, this is not a spring like that. It does not have a hole. Sometimes these springs will be wrapped where there's a little leg and it will attach into one of these holes, but on this particular stepper, it is wrapped through the top of this roll pin, and I'll show that. To get this gear out, what we need to do is we need to take the stepping pawls out of the way and push it out. And just as I thought, this one is extraordinarily clean. Because I was able to get it,
Don't go that close.
Because I was able to get it stepping just by loosening things up. But what you'll find, this rides in like a maybe it might be a oil impregnated brass bushing, maybe it's just a brass bushing, but from the factory there will be grease on these things, and 50 years later, they very well could be gunked up, and that will keep them from moving. So at this point, I will clean this off. I will apply a teeny bit more grease, but that's all we're going to do. I'm not going to use any solvents because there isn't any gunky grease on here. I will just wipe it off with some paper towels and apply a little bit of my CV axle grease. I'll clean up some of the goopiness I created on the actual gear itself. But let me get this clean and we can kind of look at this gear a little bit too.
And yeah, bass tone, I just sent you that link to the Fun with Pinball EM class. It's really cool, it's free, and there's one tomorrow, but you have to sign up in advance. But you can sign up for the next one as a game bringer, and you can show the coaches, which Grumpy EM Doctor is one of the coaches, what your issue is with your webcam, and they kind of talk you through how to fix the game. And hopefully by the end of it, your game is up and running. So lots of learning how to read schematics and other great stuff too. So definitely one of the best resources we have in pinball. So
it's super
sign
cool.
up.
You have people much smarter than me teaching you how to fix things the right way. So let's get a shot of this Emoto. I think I showed it off okay last week with the webcams, but come from this angle if you don't mind.
Okay.
I can actually use the television as a reference and kind of see what's going on. But this is the stepping gear, right? And your next step, if this thing was really, really, really gummed up and nasty, your next step would be to remove this lever here. This is the reset lever. again, like we've got this. Oop, this guy's under a lot of tension, but this guy here will get locked up around the shoulder screw. And if this thing doesn't move fluidly, the stepper will not function. This guy also needs to rotate fluidly or else the stepper will not function well. This unit really doesn't need to be disassembled as often. It is on a screw itself, but it is encased like in a nylon bushing. So the nylon really doesn't gunk up too bad. And this one moves so freely, I'm not going to here's my excuse, but also a reason. I'm not going to take it apart any further because I don't want to create any more possible problems. If I don't have this shoulder screw on me, right? So if I was on location, or even if I was in the shop and I needed to do a quick turnaround or something, if I broke that part, I'm SOL. If it's functioning fine, I'm not going to mess with it. So that's why I'm going to leave it. These things move very fluidly and nicely. I'm not concerned. The other thing we will do while we have the actual stepper disc off is I will want to hit the heads of the rivets on this side really gently. We're not doing like some crazy sanding action, but can you view this camera?
Yeah, I was going to just move that. Thanks.
All we're doing is trying to get gunk off and to just very lightly burnish these contacts. We're not trying to remove any material whatsoever.
That's terrible.
Yeah, come down again. Let's see if I can bury that light. But yeah, right, these are our contacts here. As this thing steps around, these are what light all of our bonus lights. So I'm going to take a scouring pad and just very lightly kind of hit these rivets. And we're just trying to work the gunk off. If someone had come in here and done like some really nasty like grease job or something to try to get this thing going, you might want to hit this with a little bit of solvent first, but I find that just like lightly burnishing these brass contacts until you get the dirt off, I've never ever had a problem otherwise. I will be applying just a teeny bit of grease. I did not bring my PBR grease, the grease that Pinball Resource reformulated off of the original Gottlieb contact grease, but I've been using this. Did that door open?
Yeah, I think it's
Cool. There's a ghost in here.
Ghosts.
We're going to apply just a teeny bit of oil to these little rivets, and then I'm immediately going to just wipe it away. Less is more. We don't want to see any of that crap on there, but just putting a teeny bit down will help keep these things from... The oil, as far as I know, from what I gather, the oil isn't there to like help the stepper step, but what we're doing is creating a thin film so the metal on metal contact will not wear out. On a well-loved...
Hey, Corin.
Huh?
Oh.
What's up?
I was making ghost sound, sorry.
Oh, ghosty time? On a well-loved game, I mean, you see this a lot on games from the 50s, 40s, and older, or just games that are either abused or just really well loved. You'll get the horseshoes will actually cut grooves into all of these rivets. So applying a teeny bit of grease is just going to help that metal on metal friction not turn into metal on metal carnage.
Grumpy says it's still worth discussing the proper way to remove the shoulder screw that helps it not break.
Okay.
Basically, you must remove the nut first. If the nut remains, it'll break for sure every time.
Yeah, absolutely. So can you bring the camera in on the other side, Emoto? Let's like show it just so people may... Actually, you know what? No, don't worry about it.
No, what do you mean? Let's show it.
Well, we can see it. Oh, no, we can't. Yeah, bring it over here. Heat is a good way to do it. Heat in pinball can be scary sometimes. You have to be really careful with how you apply heat. Using fire around cloth-wrapped wires, definitely not a great idea. I've used a soldering iron and held it on for an obscene amount of time to try to break it loose, and that has worked before. But so shoulder bolt here. Oh. I wanted
Do I need to be higher?
No, I wanted to have this camera on too, but it's not a big deal.
Oh.
Let's just
No,
talk
look,
about it really quick. We've got shoulder bolt here. This is where the screw goes. The other side here has a nut. So this shoulder bolt, right, it has a a wider section, which some of these levers ride and rotate on, and then it steps down to like a number 8 thread, right? That's the skinny point. Where it gets skinnier, that's where it becomes weakest. If you do not remove this nut, you are putting a massive amount of torsion right on that really weak point, and it is very easy to snap, even with hand tools. So the proper way to remove this would be to hold screwdriver on this side, right, and hold this stationary and break this side loose. Again, there is grease here, right? We've got metal on metal pivot points. So if that grease is really, really dried up, it's going to make this not want to spin. Just be careful. You don't want to be caught with it broken. So. I'm trying to read here what some people were saying.
We had a question. What do you do if the prior owner went with nuts with WD-40? Any preferred way to clean off the contacts?
Yeah, take it apart. You have to take it apart and clean it.
Yeah.
It's
Or if he cleans with
you really have
alcohol
to.
in the field, or if in a well-ventilated shop with lacquer thinner.
Yeah, I always have a small bottle of
mineral
lacquer
spirits.
thinner with me in my extra box of chemicals and other large tools to clean off greases and other solvents that shouldn't be where they were applied. But yeah, that's gross. If you've got a WD-40 all over your game, your best bet is to get an alcohol-y rag and try to wipe as much off of it as possible. Remember also, WD-40 is not a lubricant. In that sense, if you need like a penetrating oil to remove nuts or bolts, PB Blaster is a much better solution. It does a lot better at like penetrating.
Penetrate.
Stop laughing, Steve.
Penetrate.
This is serious. We
Steve's
don't have
just
fun here.
Turning red
I'm just
every
kidding.
time we say nuts.
Nuts, balls, penetrate. Get it all out of your system. We're allowed to say that, but I can't say the A word or the S word.
Assembly?
Yes,
Assembly.
assy. I see some. No, I'm just kidding. You guys are silly. I'm going to apply a teeny bit of
Gordon
grease to
still
this.
hung up on ghosts?
I'm going to grease this shaft
Need to play Phantasm
here
Four, yeah.
really quick.
Wait,
Well, no laughs from Steve this time.
hold on, watch this.
Oh, wait, actually here, I found that shoulder bolt that Steve brought me. Just for
Oh, where'd it
giggles,
go?
if you guys are curious about, oh God, Emota's got a cool camera. This is a shoulder bolt. So we've got a wide portion here at the top. You've got the shoulder itself, and then it goes down to a very weak spot, right? So if we don't loosen the nut, you're putting all the torsion on this really skinny part here, and that will snap. So people are still hung up on the ghosts. Yeah, dude, it's haunted. I just spent a whole weekend in Savannah in a 200. The house was built in 1830 something, 1832. Yeah, about 200 years old. That place was totally haunted, but we never saw ghosts, so I don't know.
Grease this shaft.
Yep, we are applying some grease to the shaft.
Should we get a close-up of the shaft?
No.
Why not? Shaft
What kind of film are you directing? No, we're moving over here again. Use the bigger camera.
Oh, wait.
Are you moving this one? Here. We've applied a teeny bit of grease to the shaft.
Nice.
You guys are gross. Okay, so we're going to put this back in, and I'm
can
going to
operate
try to
this.
distribute the grease around. We need to get some of these stepping hardware out of the way when we reapply. Get the shaft back in. We want to make sure that the shaft and gear carrier are all the way down.
Oh, he's blocking it.
And yeah, we're definitely going to want to put a teeny bit of grease again on the gears. I wiped most of it
I missed
off,
it.
but we want a little bit on there to, again, ease that metal on metal contact. A little bit of grease there will help. I'm not even gonna ask Steve right now. But yeah, so we've got this guy back in here. Sometimes what I'll do is kind of hold all these things out of the way and try to distribute the grease a little bit. Get this back into position. Okay, the next step that I will generally undergo is we're going to put the switch stack back into position, and that will help me remember which bit is home, right? On the final step, when the stepper unit is at, we'll call it home, it's going to open a set of switches to tell the game like, hey, I'm done stepping down, so you can go into your next, next step of the process. This one definitely needs to come back a long ways, so I need to spread these things out and bring this oh wait, no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking like a dummy. It opens the set of switches in this position. So hold on, let's actually talk about that so I can show everyone how I kind of realized I was being an idiot.
Can I read what Grumpy said?
There is a, y'all see this, this teeny little stopper right here? There's a little nub that sticks out.
Is that what you're pointing at?
Yeah. What that ends up hitting is it hits this little, oh, sorry. It hits this post on the back of the gear wheel, and that is how the this thing can physically stop itself as well. So, yeah. I'll stick this guy back inside and get this stuff out of the way.
So Grumpy said the shoulder part of the shoulder bolt works as an axle. The threaded part goes through a threaded hole in the bracket. The nut works as a jam nut against the bracket to allow the shoulder bolt to be a bit loose so that the parts hold it in place can pivot.
There we go.
The part it holds in place can pivot. Wow. Oh look, yeah, we see you sliding it in.
No, I have that backwards.
Oh.
Hold on. I need to think about this for a second. As we see, this is the time where it's like, this is where I need to teach myself again how to do this. Okay.
Grumpy, help us.
No, I think I do have it backwards. I have it 180 degrees out. So I need to put it on the other side of that stop. I thought I had it wrong. Okay.
How can you tell?
Well, okay, so the way I could kind of tell was I was looking at the set of switches, and the set of switches, like A, first off, didn't look right when they were open, and B, I couldn't step it up any further because the way it was trying to rotate is, I think it tries to rotate clockwise from my, no, it rotates counterclockwise. It was hitting this stop. So, let's see. It's kind of, this is difficult. This does take a little bit of understanding how this mechanism works. I really wouldn't recommend just jumping into something like this if you're not super certain how all of these assemblies work together. But it's not rocket science either.
Hey, Brenna98, thanks for the raid. We got more people in here.
Wow, someone's raiding us. Thank you.
Raid.
So the reason I could tell is, check this out. I could see this stack of switches, and in their normally adjusted position, you've got two normally closed switches and one make-break switch at the top. And as I've rotated them out of the way, we've got 3 switches closed. When I brought that switch stack to bear, I would have had to bend them an awful lot to try to get them to actuate the correct way, which told me that I had this thing about, well, I guess 90 degrees out technically. But now if I bring these switches home and I gently put these that switch stack up, now I have the make-break switch closed, and I have 2 normally closed switches open, which is normal for the home position. Oop. So now that I know I have this thing in the correct spot, I will bend these switches back out of the way. We want to wrap the torsion spring, so I'm going to start by taking up all of its slack and getting it back to my reference point, which was the this peg, which opens and closes the switches. So we've got 1, 2, 3 wraps. And very carefully, I'm going to block the entire camera because I need to see. But I will be putting this guy back where it lives. We're not done. We might need to take this back apart again. But let's get the other side on so we can put the maximum amount of friction that this unit will be going in throughout its actual normal usage. And then we can sit here and step up and down and make sure that we've got the correct amount of torsion. It is a little difficult to undo that spring when the switch stack is back in the way. So since I thought ahead, and I'm not a complete dummy, we did mark the...
Yes. Put the maximum amount of friction on the shaft. Very important.
Y'all are gross.
We're obviously talking about pinball, Kyle. Get your mind out of the gutter.
No, y'all are. No, I'm just kidding. I think it's hilarious. I'm just trying to be a negative Nancy.
You didn't put it the right way.
I did. I actually put it exactly where my little hash marks were. So here's a difficult thing though. When you do start to get some torsion on, or some tension on the shaft, and you do move this left and right a little bit, it will kind of step the stepper. So use your ears, right? If the gear is moving, you will hear it go snap, snap. So I'm going to hold this in place, and I'm going to try to tighten one set screw down. And remember, again, it's not a D-shaped shaft or anything like that. It doesn't need to be perfect when you're done. You can loosen it, but you can get lucky and get it right the first time. So I'm going to hold it in place, and I'm going to try to get it to set, but I'm not going to torque it down all the way. All right, we've got tension on the shaft now. I'm going to come up here and tighten the other set screw.
Let me get inside.
I have to be real careful of that spring because I really don't want to screw that up. Okay, let's get it really tight here. I'm pretty much on my mark, so I'm not too nervous that these are going to be off, but let's get back over and step the unit. Sorry, I'm working fast while Emoto's like moving cameras and stuff.
I'm like, look, I got it lit perfectly and he's done.
It's beautiful. So again, these were the, the set screws were up in here. How about you bring this camera back around the other side? Because now I'm going to be stepping this and it'll be really beautiful.
Okay.
I hope. So I'm going to step through and we're going to see. No, it's a little tight.
Oh, not moving the camera. It is really beautiful, actually.
Oh, okay, here. This is actually a great, great, great point. I put this together wrong because I did not tension the gear shaft all the way towards where the circuit board is. Let's show this really quick. This is important because there's one factor. Bring this camera over here, rather, if you want to.
Oh, base tone. That code is active for 24 hours. It's $10 off domestic ground shipping. But it still comes in like 3-ish days.
Dude, some of the people actually, like the old school EMs and M. Kunzelman on our Discord group said that the USPS shipping gets to them faster than FedEx does. And they live in Washington and Utah, respectively.
Kyle's mic died?
Did it? How about now? Can you turn the gain up, or did I not? Maybe I don't have it all the way up. How about now?
I see you. I can actually rise both of us. Rise up.
Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf says USPS gets there faster too. That's pretty cool. I mean, I love the post office. My mic is dead. Oh, maybe it's picking up from yours.
Hello. Check, check.
Hold on.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
But I sound okay? Oh, wait. I'm raising it all.
Well,
check, check. All right, that's a little bit louder. Kyle, you try.
Now, is my microphone working? I don't see my levels peaking.
Is it?
Saying lots of P's.
It's on there.
Emoto's mic is working.
Let's switch mics for now, and I'll figure it out because your voice is more important.
Let's switch bases really quick.
Oh, that's smart. You're so smart. I don't know where I put my bass.
This. Oh crap! That just. Oh, that's hella loud. Here. Okay. How about now? Can you all hear me? Sorry if that was. Sorry if that was like super crazy. I saw the mics peak. I turned my gain down on my transmitter, so hopefully it's better.
How does Kyle sound?
Kyle sounds like a big idiot. All right, good. Let's move this camera over here. I want to show what I did wrong so people can learn from my mistakes. Emoto, try speaking just into the transmitter, not, well, no, never mind. We took the mics out of the equation.
Okay, hold on. Let's get this shot first and then I'll
Yeah, so we can kind of see it now, but if you want to zoom in right here, I mean, shucks, I wish that if the camera was up just a little higher, you could see it even better. Oh man, Emoto's killing it. That's why she's an incredible cinematographer. So what we've got here is we have some side-to-side play. No, it's okay. Some side-to-side play in this stepper. And when I reassembled it, I should have noticed you can kind of see it on the small upper right view. Do you see how the shaft is not protruding, or is rather not protruding, but level and flush with the gear, or the actual stepping disc? What we have here is I have the gear offset from the actual pawl that it's supposed to step on. So this pawl is kind of shaped like an L, and it is on the depressed side of the L, if that makes sense, not the bit that sticks up. Can you zoom in on this portion right here? It might be better if you get in front of the game again. Because we kind of need a view like right where my eyes are to see this clearly.
Where your eyes are?
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like kind of right here. I've made this mistake a few times and it's annoyed me. And
I think there's a tripod that can get 6-7 feet up into the air.
You got this.
I know.
So it's right here where my finger is. This is going to be the best. So tilt it to the left just a tad. Other left.
Camera, right? Camera.
We need the Kyle cam. Okay, you can see it.
Can I?
Yeah, so you've got the gear and it's on the depressed side of the L. Watch what happens when I lift this pawl up. I can push the gear set like, 5/16, a quarter of an inch back in, and now that gear is on the stepping side. When it's on that depressed lower side of the L, the pawl is not catching it to move it up. So watch this. If I hold this in place now, I can step this unit up freely. Let me unset it a bit. Oh, my spring also came unhooked. That's annoying. But let me get this off now. Okay, so now it's off and I try to step up. It won't catch the gears, right? But if I pull this back up and I push it in, now it will catch the gear all day long. So that is an important step that I totally forgot to make sure that was tight.
So you just have to tighten it down and it's good?
Yeah, well what I'm going to have to do is I'm going to have to loosen the actual stepping disc, and I'll just need to push it tighter to the board. Because this also helps set the depth of that gear, right? Just like that. I'm going to have to reset it. We'll make sure we're back in 0. I'll set it like that, hold it in place, and I will put some tension on this guy here. I like making mistakes on camera now because that was a valuable cause and response that we all got to see in action there, sort of. Problem and response. Something like that. Okay, so now I should be able to, let me make sure that spring actually lives in place. I might actually have to bend this spring to live tightly around this peg now because it is escaping. So I will have to bend it. That's annoying. I don't like enclosing the spring like this. Kind of holding it down on its peg, and I'm trying to get it to bend over a little bit. I might have to try to grab it with the pliers and force a kink into it like that.
Do you think if I try to repair this mic, pair this mic, it'll kill your mic?
Yes, it probably will.
It's not fun. While tightening those set screws, you ought to be able to feel them drop into the old depression in the shaft.
Yeah, absolutely you should. Oh, it's so smooth, like butter. Okay, now I will put these switches back in place. I will lift up the followers, put it in place. And now I'll go get my screw. Gottlieb used a 540 screw to hold a lot of their switch stacks together. That's not uncommon. If you have ever had a busted, like riveted together screw, like on your slingshot or something,
Whoa.
on a
My mic is on.
solid state Williams game, and you've tried to hold it back together with a number 6 screw, maybe you will find that, oh crap, that screw is just a teeny bit too big. It's a number 5 fits through perfectly. Gottlieb also used a number 356 screw for relay switches, which is just a gigantic pain in the butt. I actually have those in stock now. I just need to create a part number so I can put them on the website.
Yeah, Emoto, whatever mic you're talking into is working now. Oh, okay, cool. Thank you.
Nice.
I tapped it and it went red and I was like, oh, sorry about y'all's ears.
Yeah, I saw that too. Let's see if I can get this thing tightened down.
So now you can hear my slam tilt sound. Tapped it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because we've got a great view of the slam tilt switch here, don't we?
Mr. Love told you to shut up. Or he told me to shut up. I don't know.
He probably told me to shut up. He's
Yeah,
like, just
probably.
stop talking. All I want to do is look at you.
Oh. Well, if that's the case.
This is stupid. I wish that I could fit my screwdriver in here. And this is the point where I like think it's like, should I just spend like 2 minutes and remove this unit so I could just like very quickly tighten this screw down?
Yes.
Or do I just sit here and turn it like a quarter of a turn?
Stop laughing over there.
Hey man,
I'm
this is
trying
why
to create art.
this is why I get paid by the hour. Just tighten this screw ever
because
so
you're
much.
so beautiful.
Nah, again, I don't like taking things apart unless I have to. You're gonna find out you remove this from the play field and that's the hole just ends up being super stripped and I don't know. All right, get this tight. Once this is tight, we can make sure that all of these switches are opening and closing. They're prescribed correct amounts, and once we verify that, we'll step it through 3 or 4 times. I'll add a teeny bit of grease to the gears themselves. So we've got the top switch closed, and as I step it, now we've got all 3 of the other switches closed, and it steps so smooth. It's beautiful. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. That makes me very happy.
Yay. Good
Most
work.
of these steppers are run off of the impulse cam on the score motor. That impulse cam, I forget, I think Gottlieb turns their motors like 270 degrees or something like that per rotation. And the reason I count them by 5 is because the impulse cam will give 5 pulses to that stepper per rotation. So if you ever listen to your Gottlieb games when you listen to them do math, you'll notice that they kind of come in 5s like that. And I just find that fascinating. I don't know why. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Beautiful. I'm going to make sure that all the rivets are lined up on the other side. We've ensured that I marked them and I put them together correctly. But we want to make sure to do another check. You never want to be caught with your pants down.
Most times.
Most of the time. Honestly, I could rotate it a teeny bit. And let's show how to do that. You want to put this camera on?
Yeah, it's on.
It's not bad, actually.
But I'll make it.
Hold on. Let me deem if I need to actually do it. I don't think. No. Yeah, I kind of want to do it. Okay.
Do it.
I'm going to be watching 1 rivet. It's off by like a fractional amount. But let's say that it's off a lot. And you need to reposition it if you, or for whatever reason. Very lightly undo all 3 of these screws. I mean, like 1/8 of a turn. And that loosens it up. We need to make sure we're not working up against the spring tension of the actual gear. So generally what I'll do also is try to hold it by like the switch peg. See if you can rotate it just a teeny bit so it sits nice and perfectly square on that rivet. And then tighten it back down. That was a micro adjustment, but those little micro adjustments are very critical in the proper function of your electromechanical games sometimes. And normally you would never need to do that unless you've mucked with it. So anyways, yeah, that's good. Did I smudge it?
It just looks a bit smudged.
So anyways, was that beneficial? Did we complete that job in a way that maybe taught people something? What does the internet have to say? Look at that
I
fresh
still
cut.
want the head bandana. What? Oh, I've always wondered about the fives sound.
I guess the bandana
And-
you're wearing a few episodes.
Oh yeah, we need to make Marco bandanas.
Pogs
Right.
first.
Pogs
but yeah,
first.
this is just critical. That's why you have to do this on these games, especially because your bonus is important. If that thing wasn't set up right, you'd be robbed of points, and no one wants to be robbed of points. That's unfair.
Basetone says great info. Thank you.
What time is it? Do we have time to take?
Minecraft Sim.
Huh? 4:10? Yeah, let's do it. I'm gonna go to the back of this game really quick. Actually, no. That's just for the match. We're gonna take off this. This is the KS relay. And that's actually great because those are my initials. So let's work on the KS relay.
No, your initials are KC.
KC and the Sunshine Band, they're actually playing.
Caution in the sunshine.
Well, I am getting back into music.
Oh
so
no, where
I
are you
guess
taking this?
I'll just turn myself into.
Are you going to the bench with that?
Yeah.
You don't want to be that dude.
Oh, okay, I don't want to do that.
To the bench.
We're going to the bench.
Okay, quick
So go ahead and
camera
move this
swap.
entire crazy camera setup all the way over here. Sorry, I should have
No.
said something.
That's fine. Or you could move the bench. I'm
I
just kidding.
could
Don't-
move the
don't-
bench just
don't
a
move the
teeny bit.
bench. I was just kidding. Let's see.
This is one of my where's my chair? Oh, Moto's jacket is on it. I'll have to move that.
It's okay.
Actually, I've got greasy hands. Do you want to move your jacket, Moto?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry.
My mom bought me this jacket and made me throw my other one away because she said it was dirty. Hey.
Hey, why thank you. Wow, I really do feel like a star now.
You need some
People are
water?
bringing me my own chairs. I would love some water. And can I please have
It's
a
right next to
mushroom
you.
pizza with olives? And maybe maybe a mushroom and pesto pizza. That sounds pretty good.
Pesto
Dang,
based with mushroom and olives?
you're making me hungry.
Yeah,
Okay.
that sounds pretty good.
Are you gonna get some? 'Cause I would totally go for that right now.
I could totally go for that too. All I had today for lunch was nuts.
Maybe a
Where's
snack
craft
tray? I know.
Yeah, where's craft services?
Actually,
I thought this
we
was a
got some
professional
jerky.
film shoot.
You got people doing crafts.
Yeah,
yeah, we do have crafts going on in the background.
Here,
You're
sorry.
moving it?
I'm just moving it a little bit so I can see the chat because I want to see Ty keep telling me I have such nice
You
hair.
just broke the camera.
Sorry. Did I? Oh, crud.
Yeah. Thanks a lot.
Well, I guess we have to use the handheld camera. Okay, so
Oh wait, hold on. Let's go to that. And let me fix.
Kyle, you have such nice hair, but we can't see it. I'm pretty sure that's who they're talking about.
no one wants to. See it. People
They're
are here
all
to see the
impressed.
pinball parts.
This is because it's season 3.
Hydrate. Oh yeah.
Oh, whoops.
Thank you.
Don't forget to hydrate. Where's my...
I have a drinking problem. Can people see this? Are you
Wait.
configuring the video?
It's stuck. Not
Sorry,
respawn.
we're having camera problems.
You touched it.
What's up? How's everyone's day going?
Oh, there we go.
It's great, isn't it? Emoto moved the chat, so I can't see what people are saying now. I can only see what people said 5 minutes ago.
Much better. What is this contraption? It's orange.
Oh, people can see it. Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll
they-
talk about it. This is one of Gottlieb.
Hey,
This is one of
guys.
Gottlieb's miniature steppers. They're really neat. I don't know what this one controls. I could probably figure it out. It's probably for an alternating feature since it's under the playfield. Generally, this unit will control the match as well when it's in the head. But what we have is a small little relay coil here. And we've got
It's because everything's frozen.
two circuit boards on either side.
Kyle touched my new fancy camera and
This
everything
one
just
here
died.
has a secondary switch that changes another sort of an alternating feature. I'm not sure what the whole thing does. We'd have to look at the schematic. But it's a small relay coil which pulls in this armature. And then it's got this nifty little finger here, right? This little drive. And what happens is when it pulls it down, it snaps down to the next gear, and then it will step up. It is not doing that because it's just really gunked up. You see how none of this is shiny? It all looks like crap. These things are a pain to adjust. They are difficult to service and take apart, but it's not impossible. Not gonna use that guy?
Not right now because it's like dying.
Oh, yeah, that one not focusing either.
Yeah.
We had these great webcams that now decided they don't want to be so great anymore. It's
Yeah,
frustrating.
Razer, send us some new ones.
But generally what we're looking for when we're working on these units is a nice clean circuit board, very shiny, apply the teeniest, lightest amount of grease, and then making sure that the tension of these arms is not too strong against the wiper. The wiper which spins, it sits through this slit in this nylon shaft, and it is held in place by the tension of this heavy spring arm. So let us take it apart. Always, 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 always remove one side and not the other. Do not take both of these boards off at the same time. You will pull your hair out trying to get everything back together and centered the right way. It is a giant pain in the butt. So I'm going to very carefully, or very sensibly remove one side. And I'm going to remove the side without the other switch that works on the black cam inside. Honestly, I need to upgrade my flathead screwdriver game. I've kind of got like just two old things. I'd like to get another nice one with rubberized grip like my Phillips head. Gottlieb games used a ton of slotted screws for some reason. It's okay. They just annoy me for some reason. I don't know why they annoy me. They're just kind of hard. Anyways, take these guys out of the way. We're going to remove the tensioning blade here. And we're going to take off the, ooh, yeah, it's nice and stark. There we go. Notice how this comes apart. There's a washer that is very glued in. Come on, there it goes. And now we have the actual stepping, the winglet. Which camera is it? That one? Yeah. Do you see how this this guy steps in through that slit in the shaft there? You see the shape of this guy?
Mm-hmm.
You see how it's got that crossover section in the middle, the little wings? And then you've got that that slit in the shaft right here. That's how that goes together. Now this can be moved out of the way. We don't really need to move this one out of the way for the service we're doing on this side, because all we want to do here is kind of burnish this and make it look pretty. We can do this two ways. You can use your scouring pad if you want, or you can use a fiberglass brush like we would use to clean pads on a circuit board. Let's use the fiberglass brush for this fine work. Oh, this brush is almost at the end of its life. It's brushed many things in its time. Make real short work with not a lot of abrasion. I passed over this section maybe 3 times, and can you see how much shinier this section is than the rest of it? Again, you have to remember that these pads are very, very, very skinny. There's not a lot of copper here. And the other thing to remember is, unlike a circuit board where if you destroy a pad or you work your way 100% through a pad, you can always run a little bit of a wire further down in the circuit to make that connection. You really don't have that luxury here when you have a, that wiper running all the way around. So
That's awesome. Thanks for posting that link, Mitch.
that's why I'm going to take this real gently and just try to work that schmutz groove out, and also have it nice and shiny. When we get rid of all of that, just that oxidation, we're going to have a much smoother surface for the stepper
Can you hear me
move
drinking?
around on.
I feel like I drink so loud.
What did you do?
You drink so loud.
Why do you drink so
don't
loud,
know,
Emoto?
just-
I could hear that all the way over here.
Hello, mango slice. Smut screw.
Mango slice.
What's up, mango slice? We hear the gulps. I know. I was trying to like have the most silent gulp ever and just failed. Yeah, you guys can. You don't have to sneak. We have some ghosts in here doing some awesome crafting for Texas Pinball Festival in the studio. Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
want to show that?
What?
Oh, I don't know. You held up the pen like a product video.
Oh,
so I
I'm going to
focused on
also
it.
just burnish
Okay,
the
cool.
contacts on the wiper just a teeny bit as well.
Nice.
Be careful when you're working with the fiberglass brush to not get the fiberglass all over the place. If you get a teeny bit under your skin, it sucks. It's like the worst.
Do you
And
wear gloves? Can you wear gloves?
I don't like wearing gloves because I like to be able to feel the things I'm working with. Like the tactile feel is helpful sometimes. Very, 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 very light oiling here. It's kind of
Lotioning.
a little bit too much, but we're just trying to rehydrate. I'm going to put this thing back together now. So notice this. Do you see that? Do you see that bit of a step? Here. So you've got this this lollipop-looking thing, and that centers the actual nylon stepper. And then there's a little bit of an extruded shoulder that comes up here. That extruded shoulder is the exact size of the hole in the circuit board. So you can put this together and have it be all cattywampus and angled. You need to make sure that you get it in there and it snaps in and you have it, it has to be together. When it's nice and flush and flat like that, it steps nicely and how it's intended to be. So. Now I will put the wiper back on, slide that through. We'll get the washer, replace the washer. And now I will put the tensioning bit back on, put the switch stack tensioner on top of that, and then we will drive home and thread these screws in just a teeny bit.
Nice.
We want to get it in there, but not all the way. These things can be really problematic. Sometimes these things will be taken apart, put back together the wrong way, and then you'll have all sorts of issues. I thankfully have not really had to fight with these things too much. It is possible for it to step out of that shoulder when you're trying to tighten the screws up, so just be careful of that. You want to double, triple check your work. That looks good. That looks like it's good. Okay, so I didn't show it, and maybe I will when we take off the next one, but this circuit board also has some hot dog shaped cutouts for these screws, which will allow you to rotate, to fine tune them, to make sure that the wiper is actually hitting each section of the circuit board the correct way. So when I'm done putting this together, I am taking a quick look at it to make sure that it's not connecting two parts of the circuit at the same time, if that makes sense.
What are the hot dogs?
It's like a hot dog shaped cutout on the actual circuit board itself. I'm always sitting here looking at the chat to make sure that grumpy EM doctor isn't saying, no,
Yeah, no, I'll tell you.
you're doing it wrong.
Hot dogs and popsicles. I think Kyle's hungry.
I am pretty hungry. We're going to take the other side off now. When we take this side off, we will be making sure that the cam for the auxiliary switch here has just a teeny bit of lube on it, because the extra tension of this full leaf switch will make these things harder to step through. Your miniaturized relay stepper like this for the match unit usually will not have one of those switches, and sometimes adjusting these ones to have a perfect snappy action will be difficult with that extra switch, but I find just making sure it's not tensioned too hard and having a teeny bit of lubrication really helps. A lot of the problems you will find is when these things have been fudged with by someone else before you. Thankfully, this one really hasn't been messed with much. Only me. I'm the Cletus that's working on this thing now. Move that. Make sure we put this washer aside because that's critical for spacing. We'll get the wiper off.
Yeah. Look how much I can zoom in with this camera.
Oh, is it working again?
Yeah, I got it on.
That thing's pretty cool.
The remote part's not. I'm gonna get a different one. Yeah, it's like.
So
not
check
ideal.
out the hot dogs. See, these things are just like a little bit of a groove here, and they're slightly bent. So that kind of reminds me of a hot dog. I don't know.
What?
Anyways, when this thing steps, you can see that. Oh, how many steps is it? So that's open now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So every 5 steps, it's going to close this switch. I'm not sure what it does, but we should look at it. I'm not sure what this entire stepper does in the game, but I think it might be for an alternating feature, right? But can you zoom in on this cam here in this switch? How close can we get? Like that?
Hold on,
So
wait.
now if I step this thing through,
Wait. Look at this real quick.
what? Oh.
Hold on.
We're doing some new camera testing, which is kind of fun. Emoto has a really nice Canon camera, which is why I look so much better today. But now we're using a remote controlled
that-
camera with zoom. Which
Oh, is that zoomed all the way? Oh, wait.
I mean, that's pretty.
Are you
zoom.
moving? No, you're not moving.
What?
Move your thumb.
I mean-
I thought it was frozen because you were so frozen.
I can
yourself.
act like a mannequin. That's it. So check this
Oh.
out. As we step this unit, right?
Thought it did more.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now see how it got caught up right there? So that friction for that switch for it to open up is keeping this thing from stepping nicely. So we will want to lube that cam up just a teeny bit, and you can see the residual lubrication that has been on there since 1977. So we can kind of wipe that off just a teeny bit. 1976, however old this game is. It's a wonderful game. Surf Trip is a good
Game Club Central said, "Can we call them something non-food? Making me hungry." All of us.
I'm so hungry. Nah, sorry, y'all. You have to live through my pain right now, which is fasting for real food and just eating nuts.
Oh, that was perfect. Why didn't you throw that at me?
So Steve wants me to eat some beef jerky, but unfortunately my hands are greasy, so I will not be eating greased up jerky. But thank you, though. That's a really nice offer.
I like how you put it all the way far away from
What
me.
we will do is, while I am in here, and this, we do have the this side of the circuit board removed, I will put the teeniest dab
not?
of grease on the actual main cam and follower, and I will put teeny dab of grease on one of these cams and let the unit work itself in. Again, when we're greasing things, less is more 100% of the time. Using too much grease can actually do the opposite of what you think it should be doing. So I recommend, like, if you're taking any advice, or if you don't listen to anything I've blabbled on about for the past 2 hours, less is more with grease. Do not use a ton. Can you read out what Grumpy EM Doctor said?
Yeah.
Because I can't read that.
With a mouthful of beef jerky,
I'll read it.
servicing. Well, you don't have a mic.
Oh, you're right.
Servicing. Trust me, I'm a professional. Jerky in my mouth and reading
That's
stuff.
right.
Servicing the wiper of these AS relays one side at a time is an easy medium skill task. Easy to medium. Adjusting the alternator switch, which I presume Kyle may show next, requires very fine adjustment, and I'd call it a medium task. The remaining adjustments of the stepper are rarely needed and an advanced skill. They regulate the turning of the gear.
Yeah, I would agree with David. I would say that this service, like what we've done so far, on a scale of 5, this would definitely be like a 2, right? If you're competent and you can put washers back where you took them out from, and you've got, you know, good vision, so you can see when these things are lined up, this is definitely 2 out of a 5. But it can be an act of frustration and a test of your patience to get that alternating switch adjusted correctly. So I would listen to everything Grumpy EM Doctor has to say about this stuff over me, but I concur with his difficulty ratings here. It would be a 2 and then a 3. It's mostly just a test of patience than anything to get the alternating switch correct. What I will do before we add the other, right, we have to think about this as like continuously adding friction, right? There's friction now. This wiper adds friction. This adds a massive amount of friction, the alternating switch, and this adds another small amount of friction. While we are working with a oiled and one side of this miniaturized stepper serviced, let's now hope that we can get proper operation with this side of the circuit board off with the alternating switch, and then we can try to put it back together. So we're going to bust out the screwdriver and the grease again, and I'm not even going to squeeze the tube. I'm going to take the teeniest amount off of the lid here, and I'm going to dab it onto the alternator cam here in 2 little places. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to step it through, and that will allow the switch and the cam to grease itself. And I can already tell you that we aren't kind of having a little bit of resistance there, but
Grumpy says if you remove both wiper discs at the same time, you will have loosened something and you'll be sorry. You need to get readjusted again.
yeah, don't do both of them at the same time. There's no reason.
That's a really good tip.
That is why we are doing one at a time. I am adding just a teeny dab of grease on here too, because this plastic on plastic will cause a bit of friction, so we're going to keep moving it through. And you do have to remember, like, when you're working on some of these things, the goal is to get them working as seamless as possible. But
Yay,
sometimes
we have good grease back in stock. Thanks for
that?
posting that link. The good grease is back in stock.
I love some good grease. Well, you have to remember that in the real world, right, when I try to make a stepper work, I try to make it work as like in the slowest, non-realistic way possible, right? I pull the plunger down and I let it come up slow, and if it will step through that entire process, that's great. We've done a great job. On some units, especially like these miniaturized steppers, you kind of can't do that sometimes. You have to remember that when this relay is energized, that plate gets pulled down and then it gets let go of really quick. So the proper operation here would be to kind of flick it. And if we can get it to step through clearly as it's being flicked, then we're good. Most of the operation, right, the smooth operation of this unit comes from this spring, right? This coil is energized, it magnetizes, it pulls in the relay armature, and then it is let go of, and it steps. So the movement of this armature down to up yanks on this little tooth here, and that tooth is what spins these gears. So when I do it nice and slow, sometimes it doesn't want to work, especially on that really difficult step right there where it's trying to open that cam for the alternating switch. Now if I sit here and flick it like hard, like a realistic operation, it has no problem opening up that alternator switch. So kind of think of that, and think about, that's actually a good tip like when you're working on any assembly in a pinball machine, but especially electromechanical ones that do require some more semi-precise adjustments. Think about how it will work in actual operations, right? It's not nearly as gentle as you'll treat them by hand a lot of time. So
yeah, old school EM says, do it like the machine would do.
So now we've got
Oh, hello, Daniel. He's
up, man?
back. He's working on his fishtails cabinet.
Oh, fantastic.
Prepping before cabinet details.
Daniel said that you were shopping for a new car last week too. Did you find something? I love car shopping.
A Prius.
Actually, I don't like car shopping, but I'll probably keep my GTI until I can't drive anymore or something. I like that little car. Okay, so I'm going to really spread that oil out. Less is more, blah, blah, blah. We're going to service the wiper by just burnishing those contacts very lightly with our fiberglass brush and make them nice and shiny. I'm going to wipe all the crap that's built up on them off because that crap will add extra resistance. Get it centered. So now we have to put the wiper on gently. All right, washer. We can make sure that this is adjusted kind of where it needs to be.
In Surf Tramp, this AS type relay, labeled Kyle Spiteri, controls and lights and scoring out of the top 5 rollovers. It's advanced by the spinner.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So it is just an alternating feature. This is dirty because I have grease on it. And I'm going to try to snug this up without tightening it all the way down.
Why wouldn't you want to tighten it all the way down? Because you're still adjusting?
Yeah, I just want to make sure that
Micro
we've got
adjustments.
the wiper centered on the correct pad.
Gotcha.
And now that I've kind of verified that it's good, we'll get it nice and tight. Okay, so if we're lucky, we won't need to adjust the tension of the tensioning blades or anything. I'm going to do this and watch it myself. Oh man, that's smooth. Yeah, I kind of failed that test, but I also didn't let go of it very cleanly.
Ooh, oh, sorry. I got excited and I moved the camera. Daniel has to sell his old 2006 Audi A6, and he's going to buy a 2014 Audi A6 Avant 2.0 TDI, 190 horsepower,
Ooh.
sunglasses face, big smiley face with teeth.
Yeah, man, the TDI is
And
sweet.
it's an S-Line model.
Oh, nice. Oh, that's a great car. I wish
Always
that we
be
could get
typing.
cool diesel cars here, but the diesel cars are not as awesome in America. But a 2-liter diesel would be a great car. So this is service. The KS relay is nice. But while we have it out, let's shine these Jones plugs up a bit. Grab your burnishing pad and just scrub all the crud off. We'll do this with all the Jones plugs in the game. We haven't even plugged the playfield or bottom board into the head yet, but this is going to be that step. I don't think we have enough time to turn this game on today. And since this is a customer game, I'm probably going to do a little bit of work on this game between the next time we show it, since we are doing Rush next week.
Yep.
But I can definitely fill you in on what has been done. At this point, honestly, I got the player unit working nicely. I'm not that worried about the score reels right now. I don't want to put all that work into it because I don't, even though the customer wants it to work, I don't want to charge the customer for work that really doesn't need to be done. And I think the score reels might be okay. There's a coin unit in the cabinet, which I will probably loosely hit with a little bit of grease. It's very loose now. It steps through perfectly up and down. And I don't really feel the need to service that one either. It's not nearly as gunked up as the bonus unit we were just messing with. So in Kyle's, in my own process of working on these games, I would turn this game on now. I would feel comfortable that we would probably be able to get a game that will reset within the next 20 minutes of labor, I might grease the sides of the cams on the motor itself, but we're kind of at that point now. Oops. My mic got caught on biking. But yeah, what am I getting at? But now let's imagine, right? Like I've done this really slow. Oh, look at that. I have a Adam's apple thing going on.
You do have an Adam's apple.
Because the camera's like down here, like, oh.
There's no camera that goes up high enough to not capture your Adam's apple.
That's fine.
What about the ones on the blimps?
Yeah, that's true.
Not that
Giant
tall.
crane.
Yeah. What was I? Before I was so rudely insulted, I'm trying to think of where I was going with this whole statement. Well, just imagine, right? Like, even if I didn't spend this, if I wasn't doing this on the show and I was able to just kind of like work, that would have probably been about 4 hours to do all those steppers. And then we've got the score reels. And when I was good at this and I sat there and timed it, about 18 to 22 minutes it would take me to disassemble a score reel, put it back together with like proper nice action, times 16. So that's almost, it's like 3.5, 4 hours more work. Even before I would even turn the damn thing on, we are at almost 6 hours to 8 hours of work, depending on how bad they are. And again, the reason I go so ham wild when I work on these things is because the guy I used to work for and we did all this stuff with, we'd offer a warranty, right? And I don't want to, as soon as there's not enough money in pinball to do a warranty call, right? You do all that work and then you suddenly have to go in and, whoops, gotta do it this way.
Oh, thank you, Midge, for gifting all the subs. It's
Wow,
amazing.
thanks, Steve.
It's my last time, so for all that.
No, I don't even want to say that because you're coming back, right?
Yeah,
Steve is going to take a small break for a little while from PinTech.
Yeah, it's terrible. I
But
kind of want to quit
hopefully
over
it's
it.
only like a week. I know. We should just cancel this show.
Well, wait till you
forever.
have to do it too, Emoto. You're just going to be like, oh, I'm too busy, and it's just going to be little old Kyle in here with the ghosts and Cletus
You've
trying
done
to
it
fix pinball
before.
machines.
You're
That's how
used
you
to it.
started, man.
I know.
I know. Well, we'll just start doing the show from my
100 bits,
living
Kyle,
room
go
again.
to HR about the Emoto abuse. We have video evidence. What?
HR is anti-Kyle. They would just tell me to suck it up.
Wait, why did you abuse me?
Well, you did burn your hand with a soldering iron.
Yeah, that was retribution.
Oh man, I forgot. But now
I just breathed in all that nasty dust. I'm dying. Need a
Mask
hydrate.
up.
So yeah, we've got the relay back in, and let's set it out to a Q&A, and maybe this will work when I decide to turn it on at some point.
All right. So if anyone has any questions for Kyle
If anyone wants to roast Kyle,
about your games that you're currently working on, now's a great time for it. And even better, go ahead and post in the chat what games you're working on. So Daniel's working on Fishtails.
does anyone want to remind me about that shoe or screw?
Bass tone, we didn't see
Little
what
bit.
EM you just got, or I missed it. Oh, pinball trivia. That's funny. All right, yeah, we're going to do pinball trivia. And I lost it. Oh, whoever wins the pinball trivia question will get this awesome pin game journal.
Better looking than I am. Look at
It's, if you guys weren't here at the beginning of the show, it's a cool calendar. It has all the dates of all the shows and a lot of cool articles about people in pinball.
that. Okay, should I ask the trivia question?
Yes.
So should I
It's the
ask
first-
a trivia question?
The
or-
first person in the chat who gets it right.
Okay, so should I ask a trivia question, or should we use the calendar and use an image in the calendar to ask what game this is?
That's going to be so easy.
Too easy? Well, I don't. But here, see, Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf says I
Watch.
want to win this, so he's just gonna get on IPDB. And
What game is this?
What the heck
What?
is that?
What?
Oh, okay. Yeah, what game is that?
No, that doesn't
that
count.
one-
That's way too
No,
easy.
no, that one's too
That
easy.
one's way too easy. Come on. Hold on.
Hold on. No.
Are you leaving?
No. Let's choose this together. That's too easy too, because that's too recent.
I know it's all.
That's too hard. I don't even know what that is. Actually, yes, I do. It's Shipmates. But anyways,
We could have used that one.
that's one of my favorite games ever. But
That's so easy. Look, you
I
just
know.
instantly.
Well, but go back. I saw a good one.
This one.
That's too easy too.
That is too easy. I think it's.
Hold on. Well, we don't want it to be impossible. Hold on, I gotta
What
block
if we
this
ask
camera.
people who this person is?
I don't know who that is. I wouldn't even be able to win.
What if we ask whose hand this is?
That's.
Stop blocking me. Whose hand is it? No, not a good trivia question. All right,
You're crazy.
Kyle walked away. Here.
No, I'm gonna block. Let's block.
How
Let's
about
go.
what game is this?
There's not enough context. I know what that is. That one's too easy.
Not enough context.
That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's see. It's kind of EM specific. I think it might be too easy because Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf is just gonna win. But
Yeah. We're not gonna just give you this calendar. You gotta earn it. Oh, that one's easy. They're all
ooh,
classics.
that's a good one. I was working on this game this weekend.
That's
Yeah, what game is this? Well, come on. It's not. It has to be kind of easy. What game is this?
Hold on. See? Who wants- Okay. Is everyone ready? Get your keyboards ready. Hover over the enter key. And the first person to guess what game this is, we will ship you your very own 2022 Pin Game Journal calendar.
Unless you're Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf, you don't get it. What game is that? Oh!
Oh,
Well,
see, look, people would have got it.
but he's disqualified anyway, so
Why?
keep going. No, I'm just
He
kidding.
shouldn't be disqualified.
He's not disqualified, but we'll give 2 away. Let's just do it. Come on.
He already gave the answer though.
Yeah, I was hoping they'd come in quicker. Okay, let's do. Let me ask another trivia question.
Congratulations, Mr. Lowe.
You win.
We'll autograph it for you.
Can we give one more
Can we
away?
autograph it for you?
I've got.
Let's give one more away.
Okay,
Give another one away.
what is the first Bally pinball machine that had electronic sounds?
Wait, you're not even on camera. Come closer.
What was the first electronic Bally pinball machine with electronic sounds? So a game that didn't have chimes. Gorgar's not a Bally game. All the IPDB warriors are just going crazy right now. Lost World! Yeah, you win.
Nice.
Yay!
All right.
Nice base tone.
Wait, we didn't sound as excited when Mr. Loaf won.
Well,
Good
Yay,
job, Mr. Loaf.
Loaf.
Good job, Base Tone. Please send me your shipping address to marcotv@marcopinball.com, and you guys will get your very own pin game calendar.
nice. Good job. That was a really good. I'm glad that someone like blurted that out super hard. That makes me really happy. Good job.
Parksonian, you were so close.
Charlie's Angels, I think, was the first Gottlieb game with a tone board.
Mr. Loaf, I know that's your real address. I've been there with you. Just kidding.
Dang, what a cool address.
Yay, congrats.
Is that a real
Send me an
place?
email.
69 Weed Street, Unit 420, Blaisville, Maine.
I had to
Wow.
I had to shoot
Man,
that.
how'd you get that one?
I
That
had to
must.
shoot an apartment complex on the street.
That's a big apartment complex if it has 420 units.
Yeah.
Probably be 420 Reed Street, you're at 69. Would make more sense.
Yeah, probably.
No, it's a big spot.
Well, we know that. Wait, he says.
No, don't. That's a
Oh.
secret. Oh, never mind. You had to approve it.
Yeah.
Hooker Street.
I
God.
got stuff shipped there all the time.
I can get. We know Bad Outta Hill's address. I know who he is. So, Base Tone, send us your email address or your physical address, and we'll send that sweet calendar your way. Yeah.
All right. So, anyone have any games they're working on and have questions for Kyle in this last 15 minutes of PinTech Live episode 84?
No one wants to talk to me. We just want to talk about 69 Hooker Street in Boston. What goes on there? I really love these cloth insulated wires.
Altered B seats. Space Odyssey.
Good game.
We continuously coins up when initializing gameplay. Counter just rolls.
Your mic's dead.
My mic's dead?
Yeah, according to RPM.
Uh-oh. That's sad.
How come this close-up
Read
seems
that
too
one.
close for Kyle but was great for Emoto? Well, because I am not something you actually want to look at. Emoto is much more handsome than me.
Is my
Nah.
dapper? Is my mic back up?
Yeah. It looks like it is.
All right, so
So
Kyle.
the question for Space Odyssey,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't remember how Williams games
Okay, cool.
coined up. I'm
It's
going to
weird.
say
Maybe it's not. I don't know.
look on the schematic and see what the coin switch trips. It's probably going to either Space Odyssey is old enough where I think it will probably just trip the start relay. No, it won't because it's running the credit unit up. I don't know. That's a good one. I would say look at the schematic and it will probably be pretty apparent. You're going to figure out what triggers the replay unit is maybe what they would call it, or it might be called the credit unit in Williams speak. What triggers that to go up? Because I'm pretty sure in Williams EM logic, it should just start a new game.
I cannot read any of that from here.
Yeah, I'm blind. Lord of the Rings.
No buck, shooter, eject working. Fuse keeps blowing when powering on. Replace the coil for the shooter. Don't see any shorts.
So you know it's it's like, so I'm assuming it's one circuit that's dead, right? The VUC, the shooter, and the shooter eject, those might be like all on a 50 volt line. So ensure that the power going to those is all one. It's blowing one fuse, so it probably is. Get a breaker so you don't have to keep blowing fuses, but the real granular way to figure this out is to unsolder all of those coils and attach them one at a time.
Oh, wow.
Start with the last one in the line, right? The one, most of them will be doubled up and then doubled up and then doubled up and then the last one, because they're all serial wired. Make sure that the doubled up ones stay together, but then start adding one coil in at a time to see which one explodes the fuse. You either have a dead short in a coil, you've got, does it blow the fuse right on power up? It's like, if it blows right on power up, I think you might have a problem with a rectifier somewhere. But generally, like if you had a locked on transistor, which is also quite common, like a dead transistor, they usually short straight open so that the coil will always be activated. You'll be able to hear it. So
he says, couldn't that Lord of the Rings issue be a driver?
If it was the driver, it wouldn't blow up the fuse right away unless it was also a dead short in the coil, right? So if you had a shorted on driver with a dead short coil, that would blow the fuse absolutely. But you would very much see a coil that's dead short like that. So I would recommend getting a fuse holder. A circuit breaker that you can wire to a dead fuse so you don't waste fuses when you're trying to figure this out. But maybe you're wrong. Maybe there is a coil that is being held on. You just don't know, right? So open up the game, turn the power on, and see if anything immediately comes on. Those high-powered coils like that are meant to be like super momentary. If you have a 50-volt coil held on for, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 seconds, it will blow the fuse for sure. So.
Parksonian says, I kind of an apprentice. It's
Good.
a pinball club I'm a member of. I'm just kind of shadowing. That's awesome.
Yeah,
You're
that's
learning.
awesome. Well, again, so you either have a problem coming in, right? So you have an AC voltage that gets rectified. If you have a short in the rectifier, that can cause the fuse to explode too. If the coil was burnt already and then all you did was replace the coil and it's still blowing, I would go and look at the. I would definitely go and look at the driver. It's going to be an IRL 540, a MOSFET on the driver board. The only other thing I can think of is maybe you wired it backwards on the wrong side of the diode, so you'd need to double check that. The power wires, the wires that have constant voltage are going to go to the banded side of the diode, and your signal is going to go to the unbanded side of the diode. So, yeah, I like those sorts of issues. So. Retro Gaming with Hopper said, last time that happened to me, there was a coil wired backwards. Yeah, that'll do it. Pin Daddy says, what would cause the pinball from not cleanly launching and rattling off the shooter lane rails and dribbling back down? Both plunger and auto launcher doing it. Well, what game is it? First off. Second off, something is not lined up right. So, depending on the game, I would make sure that your barrel spring on the outside of the shooter rod is not super compressed. We'll use a stern shooter, for example, right? It's got that hooked launchy thing, and then you've got the rod that comes through. The ball is supposed to lay on the auto launch fingers. If your, the barrel spring gets all worn down and the plunger starts sitting like this, you're not going to get a clean hit when it tries to auto launch. That could also affect the shooter rod too, because it doesn't, physics. Sega Starship Troopers just started recently. Make sure that the playfield's sitting in the cabinet square. Did you not put the playfield back down just right? And it might be hanging up on one of the playfield hooks or something like that. Yeah, those are the things I'd check. My wildlife plays fine other than the last ball double bonus. Does the player unit tell everything else to activate on the last ball? No, usually on a Gottlieb game, I think there's a last ball relay. So when the player unit steps to what will be the last ball, ball 5 or ball 3, depending on how you have the Jones plug set, that is when it will activate your last ball relay, which will activate some of those features. I would look there. Wildlife's a great game. Make sure the Jones plug is clean. I mean, on this game, actually, right here, this is the 3 or 5 ball adjustment. So, you know, maybe take that 3 or 5 ball adjustment out. Ooh, yeah, that's gross. Make sure that make sure you have all settings, you know, plugged in correctly. I don't know. I would try there. Man, I'm so blind.
For base zone, you said trying to start furthest upstream.
Well, look at your schematic. It's going to have the blowout of the player unit, or look and see what is supposed to trigger the last ball relay. I can't get the last ball or XB to react ever. It's probably routed somewhere through a switch that's supposed to be closed. I really wouldn't be able to tell you without looking at the schematic, just because I don't have this stuff memorized, and I'm honestly not that great at looking through the schematics either. Sometimes with electromechanical games, I really do need to study them for a minute to try to make sense of things, but I don't have any great advice for you just because I don't have this stuff memorized as well as some do. So, Bat Out of Hell by Meatloaf says, here's a question. My girlfriend is really good at pinball and doesn't realize it. How do I help her get into the hobby? You don't force her. Just let her do what she wants to do and enjoy it. And through your love and your passionate, you have many passions. I think through your passion alone, it'll probably help her and start to enjoy it as well. My partner is also quite good at pinball, and she does, through the 7 years we've been together, she wants to just enjoy it in our living room and nothing else, and I'm totally fine with that. But she does like going to shows sometimes, but only for a little bit of time. But you're such an infectiously passionate person, like it's not hard for you to try to get someone else into something. That guy's super cool. But also you know that, so. Oh, are you guys going to be at any shows this year? Yes, a bunch of shows, but unfortunately I am not allowed to come to the show where I'll probably see you because Emoto knows that we will run off together and
That's
go
not
watch the
why.
Olympics in the bar, the
That's
Liberty
not
Tavern in
why.
Allentown, Pennsylvania. No, I'm just kidding.
You go hold down the fort while I'm
Yeah,
Steve's going, so you can hang out with him.
we're bringing Midge with us, so Kyle needs to hold down the offices.
Yeah,
Look at that.
it's fine. Well, you just have to come to another show. Just travel somewhere else. Come to
Yes.
come to California.
We will be at Texas Pinball Festival, March 25th through the 27th. And then we're headed to Midwest Gaming Classic in Milwaukee.
Great show.
That's April 29th through May 1st.
Yep.
And then the following weekend is Golden State Pinball Festival. Just kidding. The following weekend is PinFest Allentown.
Oh, okay.
And the weekend after that is Golden State Pinball Festival in Lodi.
I can't wait to go
That's
back
going to
home.
be fun for us logistically. And then a few weeks later in June is Northwest Pinball Show up in Tacoma.
Am I going?
Yes, because that's your area.
That's my jam.
Yeah, that's his area. So Mitch will be there. And then in July is Southern Fried Gaming Expo. And then I don't think California Extreme announced the dates, but we love going to that show. So we'll probably be there.
I'll definitely be there.
August, September-ish. Houston Arcade Expo just announced their dates. I think it's the 12th through the 15th in November.
Cool.
And there might be a few shows before that you'll see us at, but that's...
That's a long list of shows.
Yeah, we might be walking a few shows. Free Play Florida, I might be walking. And
I'd like to go to that one day.
yeah.
Seems like a neat one.
Yeah, we want to maybe exhibit there one day. There's a few other shows we're looking at. Kim Martinez will be running the women's tournament at Cleepin in Ohio. And a bunch.
Grumpy EM doctor needs to get out of here. Get out of here.
On
On that note, no, that's
My
fine.
girlfriend says I have too many pinball machines. I know the solution, but which cabinet is the best one to hide the body
Get
in?
out of here.
Hard body?
Hard body, yeah.
Does he have a Dracula?
A
He
Dracula.
doesn't have a Dracula. That would be a good one. Relationship advice with Kyle will never be a part of the show because I am bad at giving advice, especially about relationships. Hey, Tracy from Outer Space.
You just
my
have to get
split
her
flipper
to
friend.
fall in love with pinball, and then she'll be like, more pinball, put it in the kitchen, put it in the bathroom, put it in.
If someone doesn't love
closet.
pinball, there's a problem. I mean, it's a fun game. How can you not enjoy it? Tracy, I was practicing Dracula. I know I made that little Instagram post, but I'm very
Tracy.
excited to see if we can top our Dracula win spree.
What's the
That's
Dracula
good.
win spree?
I think for the past 2 years in Houston, Tracy and I, we always do like a split flipper tournament or like a split flipper thing on Saturday night, and Tracy and I are always partners, and we always kick butt.
Pintastic is a great show. I hear it's one of the best party shows. Amazing community up there. I definitely recommend it. We won't be exhibiting there this year,
Can
but
we go? Let's just fly up there.
Yeah.
Money's not real. Let's
use
just go.
your off days.
My off days?
I'm like, my Marco stool is a little bit too tall.
I can stand up.
There you go.
I mean, shucks,
Shucks.
I'm going to Chicago for a week, and then I might be going to Europe for a long time. Maybe I don't have enough time to go
Yeah, probably
to all
not.
these extra shows. We'll see. It's on like Donkey Kong. Good deal.
Yeah. All right, it's the end of the show. We have to get back to work. We are going to raid. I saw Johnny Demonic was on playing Tron,
Nice. That's
so
great.
I think we're going to go that way.
That's perfect. Let's do that.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everybody, so much for the great show. It's fun to be in the studio with
What's
them.
the Tacoma date again?
Tacoma
Google it.
is
Northwest Pinball and Arcade Show.
Northwest Pinball June.
NW Pass. Everyone should come to all the
Fifth.
shows in California because those ones
June
rule.
3rd to June 5th.
I was so close. I said 5th
June
to
3rd
7th.
to June
3rd
5th.
through June 5th.
Thanks for saying I did a great stream. You guys are too
did
nice,
so
and you're
great.
probably embellishing.
No,
Emoto made the cameras look really good.
Yeah, man.
Johnny.
That's really fun.
Aw,
Bro,
thank you.
I love having cool cameras like that, not just webcams. It makes, I mean, actually, I do look okay on this camera because
everybody
it's
was
not a
super
webcam.
impressed. No, you look like.
You look like Johnny. Oh,
Y'all are funny.
Johnny.
All right,
Demonic
you look normal height. Well, check it out.
TV. Ah, he's so dumb. Oh God.
I've got my CCPL shirt on, the Capital Corridor Pinball League. I'm an honorary member because I fixed their
Wait, I
games
did
at
it
the
wrong.
pinball show in Lodi.
Is he not on anymore?
You know,
No. Hold on.
I like it because it makes some South Carolina people look at me weird, like I'm some sort of a commie. You know, I just like making people mad that way. Can you not figure out how to spell Johnny Demonic?
I thought I did.
I mean, I can't tell you either.
It's
Invalid.
H&NY.
Oh, is the raid thing on here not working?
Do I need to guide
One
the
of
raid?
these days, I'll
Yes.
be streaming. Oh,
Guide the raid. Suggest we raid at the ending of this
dude, I want you to stream again. I had a lot of fun when you were spinning records and we were playing Atlantis.
Yeah,
That was
maybe.
a great, fun stream. I'd like to do that too. I'm just too lazy. When I go home,
Does
I
he
don't
have
want
something
to
that
talk
we
to
can't
anybody.
raid
I
him?
just want to like play music or eat
trying
or
to log in.
watch Formula One. Oh, all my friends that don't exist here and are into Formula One, we've got the testing. As testing is starting today in Bahrain. Next weekend is the first race of the 2022 season. Very exciting. With the new regulations, it should be pretty amazing.
Don't put the ad. I didn't.
Netflix's highly dramatized Drive to Survive comes out tomorrow for the last season. It's kind of dumb, but it's also
I
fun.
didn't.
Johnny Demonic.
Tracy's got this. She is a total Twitch lord.
Pro.
She's a Twitch pro.
He wants all the raids. I know he does.
Tracy has some
Tracy
amazing
does
hair.
have the best hair.
Tracy
so
also has a
awesome.
very convincing Weird Al cosplay, which is really amazing.
Oh,
There we go. Good job.
I
We did.
literally just copied and pasted what.
We should send Tracy
Oh.
a.
Haha, it's funny. I did put an ad. I was like, I didn't put an ad.
We should send Tracy.
Thank you,
a,
Tracy.
calendar too. 'Cause she's
Tracy,
cool.
we'll see Tracy in Texas.
In just a couple weeks.
She's going to be presenting a Twippy category for us.
Are we gonna? Man, I'm excited
It's
to
going
have
to be
some Shiner
awesome.
box
Thank you,
again.
Tracy. And thank you, everybody else. We will see you next week. Let's head over to Johnny Demonic.
Yeah, bye y'all.
I know. Don't leave us, man.